Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
No sound from these views. When he switches camera, it's got static.
Oh,
well, that's not a force. She's got a deuce. She's got last rock.
Yeah, she's got last rock. Let's bring the intern at this.
Okay, apologies for the technical difficulty. I think you can hear us now. Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you here from the Saville Shootout. First end just about complete here. Gracelyn Richards playing Kaitlyn Laws, and Richards has last rock. And looking to make the hit and stay right there to pick up a deuce. Coming into this game 3-0 through the round robin portion. Kaitlyn Laws at 2-1, both looking for a spot in the playoffs tomorrow. Brushers pick this up just outside the hog line. She'll make the nose hit.
Good early deuce.
Don't forget the brooms.
Yep, you got it.
Come on up. Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Well, as we try to get this all sorted out, what's your general theory when you give up a deuce in the first stand?
Try to get it back. Were you looking for something detailed?
Or is it stay within your game and just let the game come to you?
You know, these are experienced teams. They've all given up a deuce in the opening end lots of times. It's they're a little snake bit. There might be a tendency to feel that way because it looked like a blank and it was just an uncharacteristic miss that allowed late in the end that allowed the opportunity. But they've got last rock and even it.
You throw into the mix that it's the first spiel for the Kaitlyn Laws team, and it's a must-win game all of a sudden in the first. So you start. The thing about curling, I've always said that curling is a narrative sport. Like you give narrative to the kind of a thing. Like there's no such thing as a hard shot. There's only the narrative you put behind it. Like a double angle raise is just hit the rock in the right spot. It's like a nose hit.
Exactly. Had that
with a
with
narrative.
Teams.
Yeah. So like the key to this whole thing is to take the narrative out of the situation and just play it. Like you said, we've given up deuce tons of times just because this is a more intense situation. It doesn't mean that you can't bounce back from giving up a deuce. That's the way that I always tried to talk to when I did some coaching. I always tried to talk to people about stay within yourself. There's no need to panic. There's no need to get down. Just let the game develop and play your game. All sounds great on paper.
Well, but we're only talking about a deuce too. I would think most of these teams don't have a problem with that. This is so routine. You know, there'll be a little bit of that feeling just because it came out of nowhere, right? It was an open shot that got missed, but the way it got missed, it's one of those things where everything in the pregame practice and much of the play through the first end goes towards the middle, and you have to throw a hit out in the wings in your first shot, and you're guessing at the ice because you haven't thrown a practice stone out there. You don't know how much frost is out there. You just don't know what it's going to do. And so that those things happen. That's why teams will try to put a rock out there every once in a while. It's just it's that hope that you might get a half shot even. And it worked out for Richards, not so well for Laws, but I mean it happens all the time, and it's still just a deuce. So it won't change things too much for them.
No, it definitely won't change things.
It happened in 7. It'd be a lot more upsetting than when it happens in 1.
Yeah. It almost always will guarantee rocks in play too, though. A deuce in the first stand, it'll because there's just a tendency to not want to play it completely open. There's a tendency to want to go a little bit harder, not super hard, obviously, but just a little bit harder. So tend to get rocks in play, and the Richards team is here hoping for the force to go deuce, force, deuce, and really take a control of this game.
I understand your point. On the other side of it, I think you're going to tend to see in the way the game is played today by these top teams, you're going to tend to see rocks in play in the even end anyway. Yeah, there's just something about strategy, and we were talking in a game that we were doing last night about the same thing. Is that these teams now the teams used to always do it in like 6, 7, 8 certainly. Yeah, but now they're doing it in ends 1 and 2, trying to manipulate the situation so that they can have last rock in those even ends. And the even ends are the ones where they're going to be a little bit more aggressive because they don't count on blank ends. They don't assume they're going to be blank ends.
Yeah,
so if you've
right.
got hammer in the even end, you should have it through the even end all the way through.
And a big factor in that is just the ice conditions are always trustworthy, and they're trustworthy conditions, and the rocks are more trustworthy. So there's less to learn in the early parts of the game than there was like back 15, 20 years ago. There was some things to learn. Now, as we said, there was a miss because he wasn't sure about the ice out on the wing on a morning game on Sunday. That just the ice changes over the course of a weekend, and so there is still things to learn, but it's different things to learn.
Apologies to the viewers if you're wondering why the announcing crew is talking about anything but the game. It's because we're having some technical difficulties this morning. We actually can't see the live feed.
Yeah.
So what we're viewing is about 20 seconds behind. You could text us and make bets on what's going to happen, and we wouldn't know.
We would not know. No. If we were to tell you what we're seeing right now, it would be.
You say, well, that's what I saw 20 seconds ago.
Yeah. What we're seeing is a solid end by the Richards team here, and just a couple of like not even half misses, just not quite made shots by the Lost team. Like they're not missing, but they're not making them exactly right. Just to roll a little bit too far, roll nose hit when they wanted to roll.
One thing we could discuss is the relevance of this game. We had discussed it a little bit before we went to air.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it a bit yesterday, Matt, you and I. You just don't know if 2 losses is going to get you in here. We've got a team. Gracelyn Richards comes in with a record of 3-0. Kaitlyn Laws is 2-1, both shooting for the playoffs on Monday. There's only 3 undefeated teams yet on the women's side, and I think I counted them up. There's 8 teams at 2-1. So you're looking at 11 teams that are still better than 2 losses, but there's some head-to-head games yet. Everybody's still got 2 games. So it looks like there's a chance that 2 losses could get you into the playoffs, but then they'll be getting into tiebreaker scenarios, and it could be a lot of teams tied at 3-2.
Right.
And I think it goes to draw to the button. You'd hate to put yourself in that situation. So Gracelyn Richards won last night against Tabitha Peterson. That was the 2 teams were undefeated at the time. So she's put herself in a good position, but she'd like to get at least one more win.
Yeah.
Kaitlyn Laws, if you took another loss, you're really hoping for a good position in that tiebreaker. It may not be a must win, but it might be. I mean, they know what their draw to the button score is. And if they know they don't have a very good draw to the button, they know this is a must win. Regardless of what their draw to the button is so far, no team wants to put themselves in that situation. So they're going to be treating it like that.
Yeah.
That makes for some good drama for us to watch, I guess.
Yeah. It should be interesting anyway.
It is. It's also one of those things you kind of hope for when you're playing in an event like this and you're still trying to make the playoffs. You want to be playing other teams that are still in contention.
Yeah.
You get to this point, and sometimes you're playing a team that's 0-3 and they're already eliminated, and you're not going to get the same game out of them. And sometimes that's a bad thing because they're playing loose. They've got nothing. They already know they're not making the playoffs. They got nothing to lose. And that can make a team dangerous. And in this case, for both of these teams, they're playing against another team that's still in the mix. So there's just as much pressure on them as there is on you.
Certainly not the end that Kaitlyn was hoping for. The Rocks in play for sure, but some tough shots that they're that they're going for here. You know, one thing about curling is if you can make life difficult for the other team, you're doing really well. No matter what your calls are.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things that hasn't changed in the free guard zone is you know, the small picture goal of an end where the team with last rock would like to play on the corners. The team without last rock wants to force them to play in the middle. So really this end has kind of gone the way that Gracelyn Richards would prefer. She's managed to force the play to the middle for the whole end.
Yeah. And the Laws team has been chasing all end. Not being on the front foot, being reactive to the shots that are happening. You know, if you were scoring this as a boxing match, this end is entirely Richards. But it's not over yet. Takes a good skip shot, and you can get a skip's deuce out of this.
Richards is a good young team. We were talking about it earlier. Had to look it up myself, but they are out of the University of Alberta, so this Saville Center likely their home club. And they played in the U25 Classic last weekend here in this event, lost the final. So they come in with probably a few more games under their belt this season than most of the teams here, and obviously playing really well. Carrying some momentum. They're probably very comfortable because it is their home club. Just a lot of things that work for them right now.
Yeah. Like I said, this end, the whole end, it's just like the Kaitlyn Laws team is not missing a lot. They're just missing a tiny bit, and they just mount up and gets you in a lot of trouble. Just those tiny misses resulted in a much bigger miss, obviously, by Kaitlyn crashing the guard. But it just builds towards a point where the shots just get a lot more difficult with little misses here and there.
Yeah, they do. They used to keep, I've had coaches tell us they keep little red marks or something on the scoreboard to watch where the half shots were and see what they could do after that. And the zeros. I mean, anytime you get a complete miss.
Yeah, what can you do? How can you really put the pressure?
It's basically like letting the other team throw two rocks in a row, and it's hard to recover from that.
Yeah.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
At least when there's two of us, we can talk about other things related to the game. Let me just see what we can find out.
My son's coming over with all his friends at 1 o'clock to watch football. 1 o'clock my time.
This one for a sec.
We're up and running.
Looks like it. Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you here from the Saville Center. Saville Shootout. Women's action Sunday morning. Apologies for a few technical difficulties we've had. Apparently not just with our game. It's affecting a few of them this morning. It has meant that some of you have had probably a more enjoyable experience. You can watch the game and not have to listen to us.
Right. You don't have to listen to us yammering on. Looks like she's playing the double here, maybe the hit and roll. Either one. Got to keep this rock in play. Now going forward. Not a bad result. Kept the rock in play.
Certainly not the start that Kaitlyn Laws was looking for.
No.
Fortunately, those watching were able to see it. An uncharacteristic miss in the first end and not able to pick up her single in the second, so she trails by a score of 3-0 right now.
This might roll a little bit too far.
Just far enough to leave the double.
Yeah.
She'll have
Tempting
to
to
one.
play it just with quietish weight and leave one of those in the way still. Kill the
You
back
could.
one, but keep sort of freeze, almost play like a board weight freeze thing.
Yeah. A little tougher when they're staggered. You'd have to hit it just a sliver on the outside. But
Yeah,
you could
just
play
a
it that
bit.
way. You don't have any guards to work with. If you're going to try to generate a deuce here, that might be your best bet. If you play the double, they're going to have a double back.
Yeah.
And they are playing the double.
Yeah, they're playing the double with some weight, and that leaves the double back, which is, again, could be go to the next end. Just get yourself through an end, and get aggressive in the next one. Good shot. That's what they called. Nose hit double. Rock won't be on the rings.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at too.
Which is an advantage for Kaitlyn. Then she just comes around and goes for the skips deuce that way.
Yeah, exactly. We're at that point in the end where the team with last rock won't mind coming around a center guard. You got make one good one, and you got a chance for your deuce.
Yeah, I don't think there's a way to make this double and roll your shooter on.
No.
I think you're just straight up playing the nose hit double. And
yeah, I think if you made the double over the top, you're probably rolling out altogether.
Yeah.
Which, honestly might not be a horrible result either. These straight back doubles are never as easy as they look on TV. If you're a sliver off on the broom side, you dead jam it. If you're a sliver off on the other side, you actually drive it by the stone.
She's playing this out turn with almost negative ice, just inside edge of halfway.
You're right. I looked at the broom and assumed it was an in turn, but this is the out.
Yeah.
And that's the out with a backward motion when she let it go.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to make the double. So the key to this shot is just make sure that they're separated. That's all. And this is all about the sweepers. The front end takes a look and sees where they need to be and just tries to make it even. That's the goal. Make it even. Kaitlyn threw a draw in her last end. It was a tiny bit heavy, but she should have a pretty good feel for the weight here. Good chance to grab a deuce. This is the classic team shot in curling, right?
Yeah.
Skip's got to throw it. The sweepers have to judge it and try to make sure this is even. Looks like they like the weight.
Yeah, inside brushes down right away, but it's just a solid clean. Yeah.
Really nice judge. Perfect. Good throw, good judge.
Pretty much right where they tap the ice. Hard to make a double off that.
Yeah. So your two choices here are hit shot rock or try to hit and roll behind shot rock. You might get shot.
Yeah, I think most teams you're going to play the hit on shot rock. The question is where to roll, and it looks like she indicated just a little bit of a broom side roll, and you're just trying to. You're not expecting a miss, but just trying to put this in a spot where you might get a half shot and a roll out. I think there are some teams you would see hit this rock and try to roll towards the other red and maybe even get a corner in behind it.
Yeah.
Even edge to edge and force her to play the inside out turn.
I would contemplating hitting the outside one and rolling
to the back four
behind back four. I would think about it.
Problem with that is if you hit it on the nose, if you're not shot rock, she just draws.
Yeah, no, I know.
You hit this one and stay. At least she's got to hit it, and then there's a chance of a rollout.
Yeah. This is a pretty precise roll underneath there.
She is going for the roll. Yeah. I like this call.
She certainly is now.
Actually, they could have got off the sweep if they were trying to roll. I'm not sold that they wanted to roll that direction, but they did change the shot.
No, I don't think they did. I think they still wanted to go the other way, and swept it most of the way down, and then never planned beat it. But that's okay. Like again, you want to stay.
Yeah, for sure.
Stay in the ring, so it was not an aggressive plan B call.
No.
Which is good. The scoreboard indicates make sure you make them make a shot. Kaitlyn's got to be pretty happy with a nose hit for her deuce in this end, though, after the first couple of ends.
Trailing by 3 as we play here in the third end. She does have last rock, a chance to hit and stay anywhere in the paint. can pick up her deuce. Just cleaning it all the way in. She'll make the hit. Kaitlyn Law is on the board in the third end. She picks up 2 points here. Closes to within 3-2. Gracelyn Richards will have last rock for the first time in this game when we come back.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss. But it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Fourth end just underway. Kaitlyn Law is picking up 2 in the third. Closed to within 3-2 now and throws up the center guard to start things off here in the fourth end.
I think we're going to have a lot of rocks in play this end.
Well, and I said going into the break, this is the first hammer for Richards, and that's my goof there. I'm getting mixed up with some of the technical difficulties we had. That deuce in the first end was the hammer. She stole the point in the second.
Oh, is this going to be replaced? Do you want
that is a no tick zone stone. Yeah. So the guard goes back and the shooter is removed from play. You cannot, if a stone comes to rest in the free guard zone touching the center line, you cannot move it off the center line. First 5 stones. Haven't really had an opportunity yet because we've had some technical difficulties to introduce these players as well. This is the lead for the Kaitlyn Law's team, Kristen McEwish. The second is Jocelyn Peterman, sweeping on the left as we view it here. Selena Negevin on the right. The third, and of course, the skip, Kaitlyn Laws. Looking for the come around now.
Good spot. Bite the top 4. Bite the top 4 is the skips button, or is the leads button, I mean. That's where you want. You don't want to be too much deeper than that.
And still just the fourth rock of the end. They can't do anything with the guard. So looking to follow it down, sit on the corner. This is the lead for the Richards team, Amy Wheatcroft. And if she's not related to Georgina, I'll be shocked. The second is Sophia, and I'll apologize. There's a couple of these names I might butcher. The second, Sophia Rorchuk. Is that how you want to pronounce it? Third, Emma Yarmuk. And, of course, the skip, Gracelyn Richards.
Sounds good to me. Little protection on the line there. Make sure you don't hit the center guard to overcompensate a little bit.
Yeah.
And hang it out there.
And it's fresh in their mind too, but it's one of the little ways that that no tick zone has changed the strategy a little bit. And it's not just that it takes away the tick shot, but once upon a time, and you and I have talked about this in a couple of draws that we did earlier, once upon a time, if you were trying to come around a rock at the center with the last rock, you'd maybe tight ice it on the assumption that, well, if we tick the guard, no big deal, we get 2 corners. Well, now you can't do that. And it's probably doubly reinforced in their mind because it just happened to them by accident. So maybe took a little bit more ice, and then the thrower in the hack probably thinking, well, I dare not be narrow. And usually when you're thinking that, you might be a pinch full or positive at least, and doesn't get the line she wanted because she had great weight.
I didn't love that last call. I get why she made that. I would have contemplated just coming into my own again, just throwing a draw. Like it was going to be really tough to not leave a double after that shot. It was gonna require a really great shot. Anyway, double here, or hidden, or even if you don't make contact on the back one, if you hit and roll out to the wing,
keep
and
the shooter,
stay in play, keep the shooter. Looks like they're playing a little thinner now. It's a little out.
Bye.
Gonna make it. Works out pretty well.
Shooter though. Well,
yeah.
Does it? I'm going to go back to the shot before, and I'm just trying to think along with Kaitlyn Laws. It's you don't know necessarily what they're thinking, but she played the shot, left the double, thinking that as long as we keep them playing it, and this might be the reason she's playing it, we just don't want them peeling the guard.
Yeah,
we need them. We need to keep that guard. Let's make them play the rocks and the rings. Well, then you turn it around to the next shot for Gracelyn Richards. They play that hit. You needed to stay in the rings. You needed to force her to play. Yeah, make a shot on your stone in the rings, and then you would have a chance to peel that guard. Even if you roll to second shot. Yeah, exactly. Probably had to have made a play on it. Yeah, she's not likely ignoring an opposition rock in the rings when she's already trailing.
Good sweep in there. That's again a good spot. We're back to the exact same thing. Like if you decide you're going to run the guard, you try to get rid of a couple. If you play a rock in the rings, you just have to stay. It's like they're running the guard back.
Yeah, I neither of the 2 stones in the rings are hurting them as much as the guard right now. And like you said, there's an angle there. They might be able to get 2 rocks here. Either one. She'd take either one, the one top of the 8 or the one at the back.
Yeah.
She's got a few options here. Catches the one at the top.
Yeah, good result.
And holds the shooter for a wide corner guard.
Yeah. Skips first. Tight center, tight guard. Or third's first, I mean. Third's first.
Yeah. It's a tough spot, right? It is,
yeah.
We weren't
cat and mouse game, right?
We weren't synced up to the video, so I don't know whether anybody heard us or not. We were talking about this in the second end. You see teams, it's the team without last rock wants to force the play to the middle.
Yeah.
The team without, or the team with, wants to get to the corners. Well, right now it's advantage Richards. She's got a corner guard, and the 1 stone in the rings is off the center line behind the T line.
Yeah, it's her friend right now. That rock is Richard's friend. So Kaitlyn recognizing this is ignoring it and just throwing it straight center guard. So the reason that you don't guard your shot rock here is because that shot rock is not a steel rock.
Yeah, no.
You're never gonna generate a steal at this level from that rock.
And if you guard it, you're likely to give up too, because she's gonna come around your guard and she's got protection from the back too.
This might slide into the rings. Yep.
Gets a little bite of the foot.
Couple of choices here, the double or the roll behind the corner.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to make choices. It almost looks like you might be able to get both. If you
go, you might be able to get both. Yeah. If you go over the top, you got to play a pretty quiet weight to hold your shooter.
Close to the same shot they just played, really.
Yeah. Even if you jam this and get behind the guard, it's still a good result. Playing this negative ice out turn again.
Close, but I think it's going to over curl.
Yeah. So I really like the idea of that out turn there, because it's like put it almost where you want to hit it and just sweep it. It's using your team as opposed to playing the in turn off the rock. It's an interesting way to think about playing a hit and roll like that. Now on thirds last, she's moving more towards a guard that is more guarding her back one, not completely guarding her back one. Maybe leave a half of it open on the outside,
on the wide side.
Yeah. I think that's what they're playing. They've got significantly more ice than they took for the first guard.
Almost maybe trying to tease her into playing the freeze.
Yeah, tease her into playing away from her own corner guard. Play into my rocks, not your rocks. Going way out here on this out turn to see whether or not.
Yeah. Well, we've seen it all weekend long. That this looks like it's a mile out there as it's coming down, but
finish like a mad.
The move starts right about here.
It's taking its time.
Yeah, that one didn't curl as much as I would have thought, as much as a lot of the rocks that we've seen this weekend. There's been massive movement coming into the middle.
Yeah.
Now the rocks would have been conditioned before they started. We are what are we at here? Draw 9 overall between the men and the women both playing. So they might be starting to be a little less aggressive. Still plenty of curl in them. Looks like the call is to come right down to the base of that.
Come right down to it.
Really, your two choices are you try to stay just in front of the tee line, or you have to be right down to it. If you're right down to it, I think that's what she's looked at here. If we're right down to it, they freeze to us again, and there's still room to get another one at the tee line. If you're, say 6-8 inches short of a dead freeze, when they freeze to it, when Kaitlyn Laws follows it down and freezes to it, you'd have to stay on the inside corner to freeze the third one.
Yeah. They're going hard for weight.
For line.
Which means
line.
that they're
This is
going
going sideways.
Yeah. A little quieter weight, and it just goes sideways, right? No, weight wasn't actually that bad.
No, but even if they get it by it probably over curls the stone at the back of the 8-foot.
Yeah, it would have missed it. Now, do you want to just nose hit this? Is that what you're going for? Or do you want to roll a hair inside?
Yeah, I think you want to roll, and only because if you hit it right on the nose, you force her to make a play on it. The problem is the play she'll try to make is the double and the roll behind the corner. And if she makes it, it could be a deuce.
Could be a deuce, yeah. If you roll this a little bit too far, you're leaving the draw back again.
Yeah, but
So,
you're still not
precise.
thinking steal in this situation. You're thinking force. So
I think you want to roll to Selena's left foot.
Yeah. Even if you just roll split the broom too, because then
Split the broom is not bad. Yeah.
A rock's width. And then she can still make the double, but she'll have to stay in the open somewhere.
Yeah. That's her key. I think you want her throwing the double here and not the freeze and not the roll.
Well, you know, if she plays the freeze now, you freeze back and she's forced to one. That's not the worst case scenario. You could actually overroll this, roll past the guard and force her to play the freeze. You just don't want to roll dead buried and make the freeze easier.
Yeah. No. They watched it all. They got a little too cute at the end there. I don't think they wanted to roll very far because they weren't very aggressive in that sweep call. So I think they're pretty happy with that spot.
Lining up the double, and that's the thing with where that rock is. If you make the double, depending on the weight you throw, there's a chance you could get the roll over behind the corner guard.
Let's see if they're going to play it with the outturn again. Inside edge of the inside middle of the rock with the outturn. It seems like the way that they play this hit.
It looks like that's their turn preference, perhaps, because really you're trying to make a fairly long roll here. You'll get better action with the in-turn.
Yep. This looks like in-turn ice.
Yeah, but the way they throw their out-turn, I don't know. I know exactly where you were going with that.
I don't know either. I'm going to guess. In-turn ice.
That looks like tight ice for the in-turn.
It's very tight ice. It's super tight ice for the out-turn too, though.
Yeah, well, right now
she's a little bit to the right, so
she's got the rock in front of her toe set up for the out-turn right now.
It's an out-turn. It's an out-turn for sure.
She hasn't gripped it yet. There we go. She's throwing the out.
Yeah.
They throw these out turns a little bit positive, and they all throw it the same. So I'm sure it's something that they've practiced.
Yep.
There's a little bit, and you can see it just on the release. It backs it up just a little bit.
It's off the line.
But one of the advantages you get with throwing a rock like that is you can, especially on a hit, you can throw it dead straight. You know that rock's not going to curl a ton. The downside is if you're a little bit too much back, as we just saw, it's like you said, it was on the outside of that stone all the way down.
It's a hard shot to, I love that they're trying. It's a hard shot to throw. It's hard to get in the hack and know that you're throwing negative ice, basically, that the rock has to back up.
It's a shot. If I can pull another name out, and she's not here at this event, but Rachel Holman has perfected that shot.
Yes, yeah.
She's the one that does it, right?
Yeah.
You throw that ice so that you can just have that positive release and know that your takeout's going to run laser straight.
Yeah. Yeah, that could be the Rachel Holman effect.
Could be. I mean, it's worked so well for that team, and but I mean, she does it. Like I can't think of another player before or since that can do it like she does.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to do what we just saw, where she's a little too far back, and again, as we said, once you do that, you're doing it to straighten the rock out. So if you set it too far back, you've got no chance for it to curl. It has to be very precise when you have that type of emotion in your release. And I don't think there's ever been anybody that does it like Rachel does.
So they're going for bite the top 4 foot around the center line area.
Yep.
Just to make the draw tough, make the double tough, make the draw tough, give no real draw to the backing, force this wide out, in-turn draw to the button. Really what it would come down to. So the goal here is
and I don't think she'll play the draw. I think she'll attempt the double.
I think she'll attempt the double too.
Your key here is don't be deep enough that she could nose hit the shot stone and get shot herself.
Full 8 is great. Biting the top 4 is perfect. Full 8 is great. Even half in the 8, half in the 12 is fine. Sweepers seem to like it. Might overcurl from where she wanted it. Might want to change your mind here now and take it all the way in to just
get a corner of the 4 foot because it's going to be line covered.
4 foot because it's gonna overcurl.
Don't think they had the opportunity for that. Does force her to draw for sure.
Yeah,
but now just a bite of the 8 foot would only give up a steal of 1, so there's not the same risk as if she'd have got that where she wanted it.
Yeah.
And she needs to just about bite the 4 foot. pick up her
It's
single.
interesting because it didn't look like she threw that bad, and they weren't panicking about it, and it just went crazy. So, like, if you're a little bit light on this draw, it could go sideways.
Trying to think, 10 sheets here, and of course when we're broadcasting you only see the pictures, so I can't remember whether I've seen a game on this particular sheet before or not, but we saw the guard attempt that they threw earlier from the other side that didn't make the big movement coming in, but we've seen now a couple of draws on this intern side that have moved bigger, and maybe we've got a sheet here where there's a little bit more curl on one side of the sheet than the other. It's only a couple of rocks. It's hard to know for sure if that's what we're seeing, but
it could be.
Keep an eye on that.
This is almost 2 feet more ice, or no, a foot more ice than Kaitlyn took. Kaitlyn took middle of the 8.
But for the most part, all weekend long, this has been pretty close to the right ice for every team.
Yeah.
Every team has the broom in a slightly different position, but this has been the ice to get that draw to the button.
It's not curling, which means that it's not light.
In the 8, in the 4, through the 4. Through the 8, it's a steal of 1 for sure. And I think just 1, but they're going to have to take a look around the outside.
Yeah. Awfully close.
Richards third pointed at the Yellowstone saying it's second. So looks like they do agree. It's just the single point. But that ties us all up after 4 ends of play. Kaitlyn Laws, Gracelyn Richards looking for a spot in that championship round tomorrow. It'll be Richards with last rock when we come back for the 5th.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
This is it. It all comes down to this rock. The hours in the gym, the weeks away from my family. This is what I've been training for. And all those voices trying to tear me down, I'm here to silence them. We've given everything we have for a chance to get everything we want.
So I asked him to coach.
Yeah. 4th end break, pardon me, and an 8-end game. It's the 4th end where they take the break. Still underway here in our feature game. Thank you for joining us here on Curling Stadium Edmonton. We've got all of the action yet today. There's 9 other games on. You can go to the YouTube channel or go to curlingzone.com and link to all of your favorite teams. Watch the action this morning. The men will be on this afternoon. The women are on for their last draw of the round robin tonight, and then championship Monday tomorrow. We'll have the rest of the action for you right after this.
Crafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you here from the Saville Shootout.
We're still on break.
Well, we'll be back into it shortly. The two teams, this is a big game for both teams, so probably taking a few extra minutes here to just discuss it. But one of the things that you get into in an event like this, there are no time clocks, whereas if they were playing in a lot of, you see at the Brier and the Scotties and even some of the major, the Grand Slams, they've got a clock out there, so even your break is timed. Looking around at some of the draws, and one of the things I wanted to touch on here, just to make sure everybody's aware, we saw the staggered starts for the last 2 days, and I've got to say, from the administrative side of the game, I love it, because you're trying to cater to the fan experience, and with the staggered starts, there's always a game going on. Even if there's 5 sheets, have the ice maker, the ice crew out there trying to get them ready for the next draw, the other 5 sheets are playing. But when we get to Sunday here, it looks like what they've done here, they only needed 3 full draws today, so they've spread them out a little bit more. And because they did that, they don't have to use the staggered start. So all of the games on at the same time this morning, and will be again when the men play at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so a bit more of a break, and then again tonight. And where that becomes interesting is when you get into especially the last 2 draws and that tiebreaker scenario we were talking about. You can't really scoreboard watch. You got to focus on your own game, and it's not like there's a game over there that matters to you that's 5 ends ahead of you. Everybody's at the same spot here on Sunday, and there's enough time for the ice crew. There's the 9 a.m. start this morning, local time. The men start at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so there's plenty of time for the crew to get 10 sheets ready in between. But it does just to make sure everybody's aware, it's a little bit different today than it has been for the last 2, in that all of the games start at the same time now.
That card's probably a little higher than they wanted it.
Yeah.
It's not awful. I think they want it on the center line more. So
I said when we introduced the players that I'd be shocked if Amy Wheatcroft is not related to Georgina, and it just occurred to me, I'm doing this on a computer. I could probably look it up.
Yeah. Might come out the other side here. Yeah. Not bad. Still gonna draw.
From the other side, though.
Yeah, switching sides. Just a preference. It also looks nicer from the hack. You're not trying to over curl. They look pretty comfortable. They look pretty happy with the way right now. It's curling quite nicely.
Okay, well, I'm still doing research.
Yeah.
I haven't found a direct link yet, but I did find before her university days, when Amy was skipping a team with herself, it was out of Victoria. That leads us further down the Georgina road.
Yeah. So now Richards is looking to just put one in the rings on the edge, just kind of like a teaser. She called it back 8 foot. It doesn't have to be second shot at this point. It just has to be on the rings and in the back. That's the goal here.
Yeah. And going back to what we've talked about a couple of times already, this is all about trying to get, she's got last rock. She wants to get Kaitlyn Laws to play away from the center line.
Yeah.
It's that game of cat and mouse, and it's so interesting and fascinating to watch how teams, because there's more than one way to play it nowadays.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to try to get, but the ultimate goal is still the same. I've got last rock. I want to make you play on the corners. Kaitlyn Laws, on the other hand, I don't have last rock. I want to make you play in the middle. And it's really interesting to watch how they'll go about trying to force their opposition into the place they don't want to play.
That might have been a situation there, light out of her hands. It might have been a situation where an audible early might have been, let's leave this for a guard.
Yeah. Still just
to here.
It was still just the fourth stone of the end. If you leave that in front of the rings, she can't hit it.
Yeah. Instead, you leave a half rock double, and just kind of takes away the momentum of the end. And they swept it all the way to get it to there. Good shot.
The hit comes across, catches the second one, pushes it all the way out the side.
Unlucky not being able to hold your shooter, but decent, good shot.
I have to think the only question now is which turn do you want to play to peel the guard?
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see, I'd be peeling this guard.
Well, that's what they already discussed. The rock in the rings is only in the 12 foot. It's not really hurting you.
No.
It actually probably so high. Yeah, it kind of acts like a second guard because the first guard is so high.
Yeah. Do you want to? I wonder if they think they want to hold it for a corner guard, or just straight peel it. We'll see how they decide when they're sweeping it.
Well, I was wondering if you look at the the grip to see which turn they were playing with that broom, and it is the intern this time.
Yeah, it's definitely the intern. No, I don't think they.
Yeah, that was a lot of weight. I don't think they ever thought about trying to hang for a corner.
No, I never wanted.
And that can come down to, the odd versus even end scenario. You're tied up playing the odd end right now. She'd love a blank if she could get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once you walk up there and peel that center guard, you're looking at blank. So there's no point really having a corner guard. It just gets in the way of your blank. Now they're going for a lot tighter. So a nice tight guard here. Probably see a run back. It's a good looking spot. Ooh, she's contemplating coming around all of it. Didn't see that coming.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to happen either.
I don't think it's going to happen, but she's thinking, like, do you guys like this? And I think the resounding call from the other end was, no, we don't.
Now, if she wasn't so young, I would suggest there could have been, I've seen older players where that could have been a bit of gamesmanship.
Yeah.
You discuss it. You're not seriously considering it, but you discuss it and put it into the other team's mind that if you throw one more guard, we might go around.
Yeah.
Well, not the result they were looking for, but it'll get the redstones off the center line, leaves a guard and leaves a biter, and that probably takes the blank out of
that. That takes the blank away. So it's your rock that you're running back, but it's now you're readjusting and thinking, how do we get a deuce out of this?
And for Kaitlyn Laws, no longer thinking about just the force. They were guarding a stone that was just in the 12 foot. So probably thinking about a force before. If you could put this top button dead around cover, it's a potential steal.
Yeah. Lots of end to come. This is just thirds first. But yeah, there's get this nicely on the nicely just full top four, maybe a bite of the button, and advantage Laws.
Nice line coming in.
Yeah. You can tell the weight's good when it just kind of curls nicely like that.
Yeah, I thought they'd make an effort to bring that a little deeper when the line was so good.
I think they wanted it desperately. They wanted it to be dead buried more than anything.
Yeah. That's still more of a force rock than it is a steel stone, though.
Yeah.
And just because it's left lots of room for Gracelyn Richards, if it came down to it, and that was what she was looking at with her last one, lots of room to make the draw. Albeit
She's looking at heavy. Yeah. She's looking at a hack weight hit here. She was using hand signals like some people use for hack weight. Literally touching her hand. It's tight ice.
Yeah,
it's aggressive ice.
Tight ice, but this is one of those ones where you can't have one of those quiet hits.
Yeah, you can't.
Where it's got to hit some granite somewhere. Even if you hit the guard, there's actually the potential if you chip the guard, your shooter might come back towards that biter.
Yeah.
Looks like they're holding the line.
Yeah.
Now, once they're by the guard, they
the nose. Really good weight control.
Doesn't get it all the way out of play, but to the back 12 foot, it really doesn't matter. You weren't going to have a chance to blank anyway.
No.
The only real downside to that staying in the back is if it comes down to the last rock and you're drawing, you might be drawing against 3 instead of against 2. And disasters do happen. We've seen a couple already this week.
So they really want to make sure that they kill this yellow rock.
Yeah.
With this shot. It's really starting to carve in there now.
Yeah, that's a good
overcurling. The overcurling. Great shot.
That's an excellent point, though, Matt. The contrast between the two teams. And in Richard's case, knowing that she doesn't have the blank now, it doesn't really matter to them that they left that stone in the back of the 12 foot. For Kaitlyn Laws, not wanting to give up a chance at 2, it's the exact opposite. They had to make sure they killed that stone.
Yeah. We used to think about it, the difference between hack weight and board weight, which only looks like a foot or a foot and a half. Like if you look at it, it's only about a foot and a half, but it's not. The way we used to think about it was hack weight, you cared more about what the shooter did. Board weight, you made sure you killed the rock. So it was a mental kind of thing. Like anytime you're throwing board weight, it means that you really want to kill the rock. You want to make sure the rock you hit gets out of the rings. Whereas hack weight, all you care about is sort of where your rock ends up. Like on Richards, on that hack weight hit, they were trying to get as close to the nose as they possibly could, and they didn't care about killing the rock. Whereas on Kaitlyn's last rock there, on that third last rock, they wanted to make sure they killed the rock first and then roll second. They got them both, obviously, but it's make sure you get rid of the rock first.
Interesting discussion here, and this is where I'd love to have mics on these players because it's the thought process that goes behind it. You'd like to hear. We're down to third's last stone. You know you're not going to have a chance at a blank. If that stone wasn't in the top of the 8 foot, if it was just a center guard and you had 2 biters around, 3 stones to 2, that even traditionally that's the time when you'd come around.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that's causing the hesitation is she doesn't like where that red stone is at the top of the 8 foot. But ultimately,
no, she doesn't love it.
They're going to decide to play the come around.
So yeah, I think they're probably talking about the options would be the run back or this come around, right?
Yeah.
And the theory is like you're coming around 2 guards and it finishes so nicely here that you can get 7/8 buried and be in the top 4 and top button. And a possible jam on that back one. That back one might be your friend now.
Might be. I don't think you're going to see, and I don't think they'd be counting on it. I don't think you're going to see the Laws team play a hit. The scary part of this, if you're Gracelyn Richards, and partly part of the hesitation, because you got to come around at the top of the 8 foot, you're going to have to be probably full 4 foot to be buried. And Kaitlyn Laws comes down, sits right on top of you, and you've got a hard time scoring the second point.
Yeah.
You'd love it if that red stone at the top wasn't there, that stone at the top of the 8 foot. That's actually where you'd like to put your draw here, but you can't. It's in the way. So you've got to come deeper.
Might just take the top one. Come around that mass, right?
Yeah.
It's not a bad result. It's not a horrible result. Kaitlyn's got to make the shot, obviously, but it gives her 2 ways to get at that red rock now from both sides.
Yeah.
So if there's ever a miscue here from Kaitlyn, then you've got a chance at a score. You might even see like Kaitlyn play this and her still play on that top yellow. If Kaitlyn makes this perfectly, still play the hack later on the top yellow.
She might. I think she'll run the guard into it.
Yeah, maybe
guard into the yellow and try to get the three stones that are touching the center line now. You'd move all of them, kill the back red.
It does depend where you run. You don't want to leave this in a spot where you could leave a red double possibility, because they can see a corner of that. You just want to get this buried behind if you can. And it definitely finishes there.
Just wondering, it's the 5th end. You don't have last rock here. Are you heartbroken if this one comes just behind the tee line? Like, really?
No, I don't think so. I think
you're forced her to draw here. Is that a bad thing?
No, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you want to be buried.
You want to be buried, yeah.
And you want to be buried and in the 4 foot if possible. And it doesn't really matter, I think, if it's behind the tee line. I think
you'd love to be in front of the tee line. Just
you'd love to be. Yeah.
It's a steal, but you're trying to come around 2 rocks that are at the top of the 8 foot.
Yeah.
And if goal number 1 is to get dead buried, you might have to be just back button, and I think that's fine here, because
I think it's fine too.
It probably does give you a chance to get the force.
It certainly puts a lot of pressure on them to make a really good shot, and then it's going to be tough to get a deuce.
Good line early. This is what you'd like to see. It's got to have a lot of room at this point because it's going to break.
Yeah, it has a lot of room, which means that it's probably a little.
It's not bad. It ends up in that back 4. Now, we were talking last end about it seemed like one turn might have more curl than the other one. And if you flip things around, because now we're going the other direction, this was the straighter turn last end. So it just kind of plays into that. Again, we don't know yet. It's only been a total of 4 rocks that we've seen that make you wonder about it. But it is something you have to keep an eye on, and certainly something that the teams are trying to be aware of. In an event like this where you only play 5 round-robin games on a 10-sheet facility, neither team has likely been on this sheet yet. And the other sheets that I've seen, there was big movement from both sides. This sheet, right now, it just makes you wonder if the one side curls a little harder. And it would be the right-hand side of the sheet as we're looking at it now towards the hack end.
So she's looking at a little hidden roll here with control weight. Try to end up still being shot. Basically, roll to the broom is what she's going for. A little bit inside the broom is the ideal situation. So hit what you can see with a back line-ish kind of weight.
It's probably not even the end of the world if she rolls over to be second shot. If you're sitting second and third.
Yeah, no, I know. That's what
shot,
I was going to ask you that. If that's the case, you could also play the top one and do that.
You could, but then you're probably leaving a double.
Yeah.
You sit second and third where she can't make a play on shot rock. Like, what does she do? If she hits the back one, you're going to have a fairly easy shot to score. If she plays the aggressive shot, plays the draw to sit 2, and something goes wrong, it could be 3 the other way. 3. So you can put a few things into the opposition's head by making a good shot here.
Yeah. Yeah, she doesn't need to be shot, but she does need to be third.
Yeah.
Or
She needs to make contact.
yeah, she needs to make
And
contact, which is
I don't think she's going to.
oof.
She might have just touched it. It looked like it redirected going by.
Yeah. Now you get real aggressive on this, because if you do click the yellow, it's not the end of the world, right? If you were to tick on that top yellow one, it wouldn't be the end of your world.
The indication was she's looking to come right down towards her own. You actually, if you could put this in the top 8 foot beside your own redstone,
yeah,
you'd force her to draw cold on the other side.
Well, I think we're just back to the situation. Even if you were 7/8 buried full 4, it makes a really, really tough draw.
Yeah, that's ideal. As long as you can be in front of the T line, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we go back to what we were just talking about with both sides curl the same. So if you can force her to play the other turn, and it's got the big curl, she still has to get by that rock at the top of the 8 foot.
She just played this, so it's just a matter of take 5 feet off this, and I think it's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as a thrower, you can get a little aggressive with this weight too, and give it to your sweepers. They're on it all the way.
It's got a nice line coming in. This one has definitely got
not
less
curling,
weight,
which is good.
She'd like to get it in at least for third. It will take away that draw path at least a little bit. Still accomplishes what I was
it's going to force
about.
the.
If that out turn in this direction curls harder, you do have to worry about getting by that stone at the top of the 8 foot.
She's looking at this double for 2. She is.
And again, if we think that this turn is curling harder, it might be there, but it's a steal of 2 if you crash. So.
Yeah. I think it would be a bad control shot to give up. Even if you make contact.
Well, if you were sure that you could at least kill one, but I mean, to really go after the shot, you're flirting with the guard. If you rub the guard, it's a steal of 2. A steal of 1 and to have last rock into the 6th is not the end of the world. If she could be sure that she was only going to give up 1 at the worst, she might be more inclined to make a pass at it. But
maybe
where she needed to hit it, she's got to flirt with that guard, and a rub would be 2 points.
If you give up a steal of 1 and it's 3 straight ends, you haven't scored. And that also feels bad. He's got to draw to the 4 foot here. I'd turn draw the 4 foot.
Now you look at where that broom is located. It looks like they are feeling the same that I was talking about, is that this side curls more. This is more ice than you would take on the other side.
Yeah. And she has a pretty aggressive out turn too, like a poppy out turn.
And this is going. This is curling.
Yeah, it's going, and it means that tends to mean that it's light. Oh, it's tough.
Not going to get by that stone at the top of the 8 foot. Would have needed a little bit more weight anyway. It's a steal of 2. Kaitlyn Laws, after trailing 3-0 early, has scored 5 straight points. She'll take a 5-3 lead into the 6th. Richards with last rock.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal. Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event.
This is it. It all.
Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you here from the Saville Shootout, presented by Curling Stadium Edmonton. The Saville Community Sports Center in Edmonton. Women's action here, round robin play. Sunday morning, Kaitlyn Laws with a deuce in the fifth has now taken a 2-point lead over Gracelyn Richards. The first stone brought into the corner of the forefoot. Now they'll look for the corner guard. And as we
playing one of those tight corner guards that does take away the draw to that does take away the intern draw to the button.
And I know the thing you were waiting to find out, Matt, I did find some research that says Georgina is actually Amy's mother. You had to figure they were related somehow. Or
yeah, absolutely. Not the way that you want to start the end.
Her mother will tell her she didn't teach her that.
Yeah. So how do you stop the bleeding right now? Your Richards. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can say that are going well for you. You're 3-0 in this bonspiel. You came runner up in the bonspiel that you played before. You're a good team. What are the kinds of things that you want to talk about as a team right now?
Yeah, it's still your home club. I don't think they're likely panicked. I mean, they are a young team. It wouldn't have happened as many times to them as it's happened to me. But
yeah,
you've given up scores 3 ends in a row lots of times in your career. It's the nature of the game nowadays. You have to be okay with that. The free guard zone makes it real easy to get steals. So it's going to happen. You do it to other teams too. So you can't panic. You've got the last rock. They sure would have loved to have only given up one last end, but you've still got last rock in the even ends here, and they're probably pretty comfortable with that. You did generate a deuce in the first.
Yeah. Yep. You generated a deuce and you got a nice steal. So you can do all the things that you need to do right here. You need to get a deuce and you need to get a force. Curling math works in your favor still.
I am a little surprised they came into the rings here. I thought they might make another pass at the corner guard, only because it's still a free guard.
Yeah.
That one comes all the way out into the open. So a chance for, now on to second stone, Jocelyn Peterman to make a play on it.
Hey, how's it going? I'm good. I'm commentating curling right now. Can we talk in like about 45 minutes? Okay. Yeah, give me a call a bit later. Okay. Love you too. Bye.
Tell her I said hi.
Yeah. She's away at university. So I just wanted to, she said she was going to call. She's going to lunch right now though.
Well, the Laws team made the hit, but stayed right there.
Yeah, she didn't want to stay there. She didn't want to stay there, but it's not the end of the world because it's going to definitely force all the play to be right here. And I don't think Kaitlyn hates that. In the middle.
And this might be a little strong.
Yeah, this is a little strong. It's not curling the way it should.
We'll move that rock behind the tee line.
Yeah, that's positive. Do you ever just want to like hit and roll to the outside and get rid of that back one?
No.
Yeah, probably not.
Only because, back to what we said, you're trying to keep the play in the middle.
Yep.
And you've kind of got a...
You got something going.
Yeah,
you got something
a mess
going
starting to pile up here, and you're up by 2. It's getting close to the point where Richards might have to hit something just to make sure she's got a chance to score. And if you're Kaitlyn Laws on the other side of that, I've got a 2-point lead. If I can make the other team throw hits, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah. Yep.
Probably didn't want to roll that far.
Yeah, probably not. This is a chance to kind of get some rocks moving and roll to the wing.
Yeah. Well, the only 2 rocks that are left in front of the tee line.
Yeah.
You got a chance to do something with them here. That rock at the back of the 4-foot really doesn't bother Gracelyn Richards right now.
Just thinking about playing it with just like a control weight to make sure that her shooter stays. Like even just like a pat back kind of thing.
Yeah. Keep her shooter in front of the red stone.
Yeah. Because what you really want to make
move.
sure, if you play this with the kind of weight that you need to hold your shooter, it's going to be hard to move the top red very far. If you come down with board weight and just sit dead on the nose of the one that you hit there.
Yeah.
Even backline weight.
Yeah, I was just about to say even less weight. If you're not worried about killing the top one, then it really doesn't matter if you kill the back one.
No, it doesn't matter if you kill the back one at this point. I think the conversation that they're having right now is, can we play enough weight to move that top one out of the 4-foot and hold our shooter? And it's really tight. It's really close to not being possible to do that.
Yeah, especially because I'm trying to keep track now. All the camera shots look the same, but I think if we think one turn is straighter than the other, this is the straight turn going this way.
Even so, the reason that they keep just touching the red and then touching like right next to it is they're saying almost no matter what, this is where this red rock is going to end up after we throw, if we try to throw the hit.
If you knew you could throw a normal weight at it and trust that it was going to curl after the guard, you could hit it right on the nose and make the double. The problem is this is a straight turn and you're not going to get that finish because you can't quite see all of it.
No, you can't quite see all of it.
And if this is a straighter turn, that means you got to flirt with the guard, and that's got all kinds of disaster written on it. And there's some good results they can get with the quieter weight. Looks like they're going to have the coach come out and take a look at it.
I think if you immediately say that you're okay with not killing any of these rocks, which you're not, which is, that's one way to go, then now all of a sudden you're thinking about top weight kind of shot to make sure that your shooter goes somewhere good. I don't think you want to ever play the intern, like the intern freeze to the back one.
No, and I don't think you want to deal with that.
No, I think somebody said at the beginning.
Okay.
I think they got rid of that right away. So question of what kind of weight do we throw at this?
Yeah, you know what? I'm looking at one more option here, and I don't know whether it's one of the ones they've discussed. It's one of the issues with not having mics. And would you ever, when we're talking about backline or hack or even bumper weight, try to hit, what would you call it, 2/3 to a half a rock on the outside of the red, push both of them behind the tee line, and you'd have a bit of a wall back there. Your shooter's going to roll over out of that center line area, but
right. I think that's the thinking, right? That was my original thought.
It's or stay in front of the red, right? You could try to throw a hack waiter and get to the nose of that red and kind of stay corner frozen on it, or you could try to. It's the same weight. It's just it's half a rock different in line. So you
hit half a rock.
It's not an either or. You've got to make it a clear decision on which one you're playing.
If you hit half a rock, you're only going to touch the back one a little bit.
Yeah, but it only needs to move.
Yeah, no, it only needs to. Only needs to move a rock.
It's a great result. It's a tough shot.
Would you ever run the garden to the just cross, hit it on the right hand side into that pile on the right hand side or hit it on the left hand side into the right hand side? So lose it. Just kind of.
Yeah, I know what you're. I know what you're talking about. I'm contemplating the answer to the question. I don't think I would.
I don't think I would
it's just
either.
it's a scoreboard thing, right?
Yeah.
You've got last rock here in the 6th. A blank in 6 is really not a good result for Richards.
Yeah.
Because you get your 2 and 7 and you're without last rock coming home.
I don't like it either. They never even considered it.
No.
I think all they ever considered was the way to throw at this. And it looks like they're throwing a draw, just a heavy draw. So I think they're trying to get to the nose here. They're looking at like a back line ish.
Yeah, and if this turn is straighter,
it could easily
that's a lot of ice.
Well, the thing about a heavy draw too is it's kind of 2 shots. Like it's not a draw and it's not a back line. Like you almost have to say, let's play back line to move it. It looks really good. It's coming in nicely.
Line's close.
Yeah. Maybe a little bit lighter than she was hoping. I don't think you wanted to cross it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you get the shooter buried, but if you were crossing it, you probably wanted to roll another 3 or 4 inches to leave the redstone open.
Yeah.
Dead bury your shooter and leave the redstone open.
I don't think crossing was the ideal situation, but it leaves a really interesting question here.
Yeah,
because where do you go?
The yellow's not going anywhere, but it's 4th shot. So
yeah. So where do you go now?
Well,
I don't think
I'm never doing that.
Yeah, I think she's just asking. Do you think they can get inside there on that red?
Well, do they have to? They could just freeze it for now.
Oh, I think
you've got a 2-point lead. You don't really want to guard here, but it kind of looks like
the guard is like. Do you?
Could angle. She's looking at angling the yellow. That would give her a chance to get the yellow out later. That's not a horrible call, but it's a tougher shot than just the straight guard.
If you put the rock exactly where Kaitlyn has her broom, like right there, you're not taking away the sort of the draw. You're not taking away the draw, tap, and roll inside. Right? Like if you don't throw right now, Richard is playing down to that, probably playing an intern, freeze onto the Remax logo, isn't she? Like if you didn't throw and it was Richard's shot right now, what would she play? I don't think she'd play the outturn draw. I think she'd play the intern draw, right?
Well, I still think if it was Richard's throw right now, I think she's got to look at how do you move something, because if you don't move a redstone right now, how are you ever scoring 2? Like you're trying to freeze in and then hold a single point for the whole end. That's not where she wants to play right now. And that's probably part of the discussion. The Laws team has called their timeout. I don't mind the guard. Force her to play the intern draw. Well, I'm not sure she will. I think she might have to hit something, but I don't want to leave her the freeze on the outturn side, because if she freezes to that wider redstone, that might be a rock she can use to kill 2 reds later on. If she has to freeze to the one at the back of the button, she's not going to be able to play anything off that to kill.
I guess I would say this: if you throw if you dead guard the rock that's on the outturn side, the back 4 rock that's on the outturn side, if you dead guard that, Richards makes the come around, the intern come around, T-line, button, sit shot, you throw a guard. Now all of a sudden, like the way to get 2 is to come down to that other shot. That's your way at 2.
I'm not sure how you're getting in for another one for shot if you throw guards on both sides.
Well,
that's the thing. There's such a small scoring area now. You need to bite the button to get shot rock.
Yeah.
If this score was tied,
the button with the outturn right now.
Yeah. If this score was tied, I don't think there'd be any hesitation. They'd throw the guard, because you're in a spot where you could probably get a force at least.
No, I agree.
The reason they don't want to throw the guard is because we got a 2-point lead. We don't really want guards.
You don't want guards. Well, all I'm saying is I think you can get to the button with the outturn side right now. Like I think you can.
We can right now.
So Yeah.
But she's going to throw the guard, and after she
Right.
throws the guard, I'm not sure you can.
Well, we'll see where this tends to curl a little bit, right? So you just don't want this to over curl. I'd rather miss it wide than tight.
You can leave a port because I don't know what she could do with the port.
I don't think she could do anything with the intern port. It looks like it's way out there, which is good. I think if this gets pretty close, I think they might be hitting. It's a good shot.
Well, yeah, I think they're almost at the point where they have to hit something.
That's
You've got to make sure you got room to
perfect
score.
Spot. I mean, you couldn't put the guard in a better spot than that. Because I think that takes away the draw to the button now.
Yeah, it does. And she's going to play the run, try to get 2 of the reds, but she'll have to leave her shooter there, so there's still not going to be an out-turn draw path.
Yeah. She hits a hair high side. Maybe get the one that's just behind her yellow.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at. That's the call.
Yeah.
But I don't think the shooter's going to roll very far off that.
No, it's not. Certainly it's going to roll inside from the looks of things.
Yeah, that could make things worse for her.
Yeah,
get it out of the way. Get it out of the way. It does roll far enough. It's out of the way, and it's another biter.
It's another biter. It's something to come off too. In desperate times.
Yeah.
In desperate times, call for desperate measures. Just redo that. Put it in the exact same spot and see what happens. Nothing better than in curling than getting to throw the exact same shot.
At this level.
Yeah.
We've had lots of discussions over the weekend, you and I, about the league level players and what they might be. And I know guys that would say, I don't want to throw the same shot twice in a row because I made it the first time. My chances of making it the second time.
Yeah, I think that's good enough.
I'm not sure why she's not looking at the same shot, because now it's in a better spot for her to play that run back because she makes it. She also rolls her shooter out of the way.
Yeah.
Now you've got, it'd be 3rd and 4th, but there's a double available and 2 reds at the back.
I wonder if she's plotting the in-off on the yellow for her second point. Get this one in there now. Get this one in there for shot.
Very thin in-off.
It is very thin, but get this one in for shot. Kaitlyn thinks about some sort of guardy top 12 thing, and then you got a run at it.
Boy, I really like the same run back. If you pick that one off at the top of the house, now your shooter rolls out of the way. That little biter that you got on the last one, so you're sitting 3rd and 4th, and the 2 reds at the back, there would be a double available if you could make that first shot. You put a little bit of pressure on Kaitlyn Laws then. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I think I like that more.
She didn't even look at it.
No, she didn't even look at it.
It's like they decided they were going to make one attempt at it, and then on third final stone, we're going to play the freeze. And that, again, but it's getting to be more and more rocks. That has been the turn that has curled more all game and not able to get by the stone at the top of the rings.
This is a situation where whatever you do, you don't want to make it better for them.
Yeah, because it's not very good right now.
Yeah, it's really not good right now. So where is a shot that you like? What's the? I mean, you could come around this mess and try to just go top 8-ish. Like
never. Never.
Yeah. You could throw a guard on the R of the Remax and take the in off and the draw away.
Yeah, it would.
You could I think you want to definitely take, because the only shot she has now is the draw, right? Then this in turn draw. There's nothing else anymore.
Yeah, to get shot rocked. That's probably not what she's going to play on her first one, though. I expect she's going to run the center guard back.
Yeah, and try to get everything moving.
And try to get 1 or 2 reds moving, but leave those 2 yellows. And then hopefully break the stagger so you've got a raise available on one of them. It's the stagger on those 3 stones at the top of the house that's killing Gracelyn Richards as much as anything else right now, because she can't, even if she can see them, she can't use any of them.
Yeah. Could she smash it? I'm talking about Richards here. Could she smash an out turn on her second yellow? Hit what she can see of that. Maybe get a little bit of a drag and get the 2 back ones and jam the red. You know what I mean? Like hit.
Yeah, I know what you
half
mean.
a rock on that yellow. Hit what you can see on that yellow. She's playing the in off.
Well,
she's playing the hidden roll.
She's playing that stone because it's the one she's worried about as maybe the only way to get in.
Yeah. I don't know that I would ever. I get the concept here. I don't know. I think it's easier to just put a rock on that out there.
Well, the problem is you throw what would basically amount to a corner guard if they make something good off running the center guard back, and I still think that's what she's going to have to play.
Yeah.
You've essentially given her a corner guard where you might not be able to kill either the yellows.
Yeah, that's fair. This isn't the worst.
I'm not sure she can take everything away here. She's looking to roll over, not buried. She just wants to roll over enough to take away the draw path, and that would take away the in off as well.
Yeah, just roll a rock.
Ooh, a couple of stumbles there.
Fall.
Yeah, we've seen a few falls this weekend.
Yeah. I
Looking
don't think
for
you
curl
want to hit
here.
this thin.
No, they're a little thin on it.
Ooh. Okay.
Jig slings around a little bit.
That actually ends up pretty good.
Yeah.
That ends up pretty good.
Yeah, it jiggled the angles around.
It jiggled everything around. Yeah.
Even if she could make the run back, it's tough, and it's now tough to drive the guard into the side of the yellow rock that she'd like to hit. That redstone that just rolled over is kind of in the way.
Yeah, she's running a red rock back onto 2 yellows that aren't really lined up nicely for anything.
Yeah, she'd want to be able to hit. If we look at the overhead, when we've got 2 cameras, I got to specify which one. If we look at the overhead, if she's driving that back, she'd like to hit it onto the right side of the first yellow rock. Well, she can't. There's a red one in the way now. Yeah, because the
red one's in the way. Yeah. Yeah, now this looks really good. I'm not sure that this ends in any way that's good for her. She's hoping for a little bit of drag on that second yellow to kind of nut the back red and sit right there.
Yeah, I didn't really see them gesture how they were trying to hit this. I'm looking at, do you hit the red guard across the one that was just thrown?
Yeah.
If you can drive it straight back, if you can kill 3 reds on this, that yellow, red combination, the other 4 rocks, there might be a way to kill 2 reds. But this is a tough shot. She definitely has to move a couple of rocks here. She's got no way to the 4-foot right now.
She's trying to hit it right where you said. Okay. Well, she got 3rd shot out of it, which is okay to help stop the bleeding.
Yeah, I think 2 points is too much bleeding.
2 points is a lot of bleeding.
It's the problem is when she had to hit it that way, the yellows were both going to spray too far. She needed to keep at least one of them close to the center line.
There's really no way in here except for a really thin slash on your own yellow.
Yeah, no, if Kaitlyn Wants makes the guard, I think Gracelyn Richards is going to have to try a triple for 1. The from the hack end, the redstone, the furthest left, she can drive into the pocket of the other 2.
Yeah, right.
And try to spin it out, but now your shooter is far enough forward that it's, even if you make the shot, there's no chance you're getting second shot out of it.
No.
And that's it's not a high percentage shot, but it might be all she's got.
You could also play this from the left hand side, the one that's on the right, run that back and hit half a rock on the one in the back 4-foot and try to double out the 2 there.
Yeah, if you can still see that much of it, it depends where they put this guard.
Looks like based on the ice that they're trying to cover the hole completely. So to still leave that. But yeah. both of them are like, they're both run back doubles, triples, whatever you want to call it, to get yourself one.
I will say, from what we've seen of her so far, she can throw the weight to make the shot.
She can throw it, definitely.
Yeah, it is going to curl enough to leave her that.
Over curl.
Boy, it almost.
Yep. Draw. Tempting to draw.
Yeah,
might not have taken away the draw.
It's a tough port on that turn.
Sure is, but you could play it with a tiny bit of weight. You could play it with like a backline weight.
She's looking at the trip. Well, if it was the other turn, for sure, that is the straighter of the two turns. So it makes it a little tougher.
Yeah.
She's looking at the same triple I was looking at, and partly because this would have been, again, I was thinking that she wasn't going to be able to see all of that other red rock. She's got either triple, but she was probably already eyeing this one up.
Yeah. The hard part about this is you've got to just hit it. You've got to hit it like right on the center. Like it's just got to be biting the center line. You got to hope it spins up.
Yeah.
I think the other one is like just knock it into half of that rock and you've got the shot.
Yeah.
Now,
but what maybe makes this one look a little more appealing to her, though, is there's less separation.
Yeah, the space, the separation.
It's the space here that makes this maybe look a little bit more visually appealing to her. And like I said, the fact she was already looking at it.
She's playing negative ice with her intern as well, just for the record. So she's definitely assuming she's going to pop this a bit, but she's going to give it to the sweepers too. So she wants to hit it a bit on the outside, and she's got the room on the inside. That's what I mean by negative ice.
Tough shot, but certainly she can throw the weight. You got to have a little bit of weight here because you need some action off the contact.
Yeah.
Brushes down, but they're not that hard yet. Now starting to pick it up. She's close. Oh, it might overcurl on her.
All right. Well, that's not a bad result for that end.
Pulls them to a steal of 1, and that might be enough to keep playing.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it was a steal of 2. We might have seen handshakes, but Kaitlyn Laws now with a 6-3 lead has scored 6 straight points. She'll take the lead into the 7th. It'll be Richards with last rock once again.
Stronger agronomics, better returns, greater peace of mind from pre-seed to post-harvest. You can count on the Victory Canola program to
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Well, Kaitlyn Laws had a bit of a slow start to this women's round robin matchup this morning, giving up the first 3 points, but she's bounced back to pick up 6 straight points herself. She takes a 6-3 lead here into the 7th end. Gracelyn Richards with last rock. And Matt, we had a chance to work a couple of games earlier in the event, and we've seen these scenarios before where you get a team down and what do they do with last rock, and it'll be interesting here to see. I think she has to throw 2 corner guards. Would you not agree?
Yeah, she definitely has to throw 2 corner guards.
And I'm looking at where they placed the first one and think they might be one of those teams that likes to throw the tight corner and then throw that second corner on the same side up high, similar to the way we see teams do it when they have to throw two guards in the middle.
Well,
I just find it very interesting to watch how teams approach that, because the old traditional method is, and we've talked about this as well, they split the house, but the way that there's such big movement to the middle and late movement here at the Saville Center, if you throw two corner guards on opposite sides, you might not have a path left to get to the middle with your last one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think where this rock ended up too, where Kaitlyn's first rock ended up, is sort of gives a little bit of an advantage. Their corner guard does take away the outturn draw to the button, but as long as they leave an in-turn draw to the button, they're going to be okay.
Well, and that's a good point. That first one off the line and a little deep. If you throw all your guards on that side of the sheet, you're always going to have the in-turn. Thinking about coming in now. I still wouldn't mind throwing another corner guard.
I think that another corner guard's the right shot. I got to step away for 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right. I'll just talk to myself while you're gone. I like the corner guard just because you know how well, and we've talked about it with the men, but it's true with the women as well. They're so good at the hits, so good at making doubles. You start bringing rocks into the ring too early and allowing the Laws team a chance to hit, and you might find yourself in a situation later in where you just don't have enough rocks to work with.
Should be okay, though. All the boys are here to watch football. You know what? This is going to, if they get this passed, this is another example. If they had swept that and come around the whole thing, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you could actually bury around the stone at the back 4 foot and come to the back 8, back 12.
Yeah, you don't have to be shot there. You just had to be in a spot where Kaitlyn couldn't hit it.
Yeah. Well, and that goes back to, as you stepped away, that was the comment I made. It's one of the advantages to throwing another corner guard. The 5 rock guard zone, you throw a guard, you know she can't hit a rock yet on the next one. And now you've given her a rock she can hit. She's 3 points up. She's just looking to put yellow ones in the back corner if she can. First thought was to just hit it, and I don't know what the question is coming from the other end. It's probably about the weight. Where do we hit it?
Yeah, where do we hit it? Do we try to get aggressive and come inside? I think I don't.
Well, keeping in mind, you get so many of these top teams when they play in the slams and the Briar and everything, they have a jumbotron available so they can see the angles at the other end.
Yeah.
From the hack end, Jocelyn doesn't know, is that yellow touching the red? Like if we hit the outside of it, are we going to move our shot rock?
Yeah, they're playing it pretty quiet though, based on that ice. They're not blasting it out, I guess.
No, and this is the I'm trying to keep track, but I think this should be the straighter turn on this side of the sheet. And it was pretty darn close to their rock because it did move it a little bit.
Yeah. What are you looking for?
The remote for that TV.
It should be downstairs.
I didn't see it.
There might be. You might have to turn it on in the back of the TV or something.
I didn't find a button on that.
This is a big shot right here.
It is. And it's got a lot of room on what should be the straighter turn.
Yeah, it's not curling. It's also a bit light, but it's not.
Well, a bit light doesn't hurt them.
No, it doesn't kill them. Kaitlyn's starting to get to the point where she'd be okay with leaving that rock right. Like just make it her rock right there.
Almost has to. You don't want to roll underneath the other two rocks.
No,
it basically just acts like another guard, and you can't roll away the other way because you might jam.
Yeah, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Seconds last. Just stay there.
Boy, this is in danger of over curling. And
Yeah,
again,
this is going to
this is the turn that curls. It has caught them a few times, both teams really, that there does seem to be a little bit more curl on one turn than the other. And certainly on the games, as I said before, or the games that I've seen, that hasn't been the case. And likely neither of these teams has played on this sheet yet. So another chance for the come around to try to come to that stone at the back.
Yeah, just make the shot. Just get shot, right? At this point?
Yeah.
Get shot here. This is the curling side.
Nope, you've lost track. This is the straighter side.
This is the straighter side.
She took the edge of the 8. I was thinking she could have squeezed the broom a little bit more on this side. Comes down the edge of the button.
Not bad. Not a bad result.
Yeah, she's far enough under the guard that even though she's not directly in front of that red, you'd never be able to pass it by.
I think you're... It's thirds first. So the conversation that they're having right now is, do we just try to bail on this end and double peel the guards, or just run back our own guard, or do we follow it down? And the answer seems to be just nose hit this guard.
Yeah, the problem with any kind of a double peel is actually it takes away all the cover on the center, and Richards still will have rocks to work with, may be able to generate or deuce. You can get a couple of things here. If you can make the run back, of course, you kill shot rock, but you also keep your shooter near the center line and force Richards to keep playing in that center line area. Even if this over curled slightly and you miss the yellow and lose your own, for instance, you've still got some cover on center.
Yeah.
That would be my concern here. She's got tight ice on this, and granted they do straighten those out turns, but this is the turn that curls.
This is the turn that curls, but this is going to be moving, I would imagine.
Well, they got the inside sweeper down right away.
I don't think she got out to the broom.
And it does over curl.
Yeah.
And over curls enough that she's opened up the center line.
Yeah. Now the key to this is you
bury. You got to bury.
Yeah, you got to be buried. You don't have to be third shot. I'm going to ask a question because I don't really like coming around that yellow rock. I don't really like where it ends up. If it leave a sliver of it, you're going to leave a double. Would you ever go to the back one? Just freeze to the back one?
No. I want to be buried on something, and unfortunately for Richards, the option isn't really there to come around the reds because I think there's two rocks. Yeah,
there's two rocks there.
Two rocks so there, which means they're dead lined up.
So you have to do this, but you have there's just...
This is where you would wish this was the curling turn because, you're right. You want a dead bury or even over bury is okay.
Yeah, you want to over bury because if you leave a quarter of this rock, you're going to leave a double, which they might take a run at. Like if you put it where her broom is.
Now this might make a big move off the center line. We haven't really seen them cross yet. Boy, it did go hard from the center line over.
Decent result though, not bad.
Gets her back to the same situation she was just in, and now that guard is her own. Yeah.
Now I think you're going to see Kaitlyn just come down to the yellow one in the rings. I'm not sure you even need to have back 8, back 12. You could just play this with T-line weight on its own.
Yeah, there might still be some discussion about that guard. It's close enough to split.
Yeah. You got like almost all the rock and you've got some space. So if you dead froze to it,
I think you'd like to get at least to the nose, if not ever so slightly across the face. It's not necessary to be shot rock here.
No.
You can force them to one. You're good with that too. If you're anything on the high side,
it could
that
be
probably
trouble.
helps Gracelyn Richards.
Yeah.
So it looks like they're going to try to play enough weight to move it through.
They're trying to get inside. She's sweeping it like they think you can get inside, because she is sweeping the path for.
Or even if you just get to the nose and it tickles off the red, that's fine too.
Yeah. But yeah, this has a very real possibility of being a little too high side.
Yeah, just because this turn has been a little straighter, and when you have to throw like that back line to hack weight, you're just not going to get the same curl.
No. It's interesting. I mean, they might have talked about like a heavy draw, but it never really looked like they did. I think they were always thinking about just trying to think about how to kill this.
I think if you're going to move it, you got to kill it.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's your two choices. You're either trying to kill it or you're trying to stay in front of it with a freeze. Yeah. Even if your foot's short of it on the freeze, actually wouldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. What you can't
trying to sweep for some curl here. They're going to be on the outside.
Well, it's coming over. It's coming over enough, I think. No. Yeah, that's what you can't really do. But it's not the end of the world. What? Yeah.
Yeah, it certainly flips this end in a hurry. It's a very makeable shot now for Emma Yarmuk to try to set up not just a deuce. We could be looking at 3 here. She can kind of Christmas tree these rocks on the roll. It's hard to make a play on either one of them. And there's a red on the corner that redstone stayed back there. It's a catcher. Yeah.
Yeah, because if she gets this roll perfectly, then I think Kaitlyn's got to run the guard back, and everything is going to be going towards that catcher.
Yeah, I don't know if she'll run the guard when it's a yellow guard. If it was a red one.
Yeah. Well, if she makes this roll and half buried, I'm not sure what else. I guess Kaitlyn could just pick it.
I'm thinking she might try to pick the back one, but this is going to over curl. That's
tough.
Both teams getting caught a little bit by the fact that the 2 turns don't curl the same, or at least they don't seem to, because here we got a shot attempted with the curling turn and they curl up to the nose, and the other ones, they're just under curling a little bit. I think one of the things that makes it even harder for them to recognize is when we call it a straight turn, it's not like it's straight. It's not curling quite as hard as the other turn.
I think she's throwing the out turn at this with that ice, right? Because it can't be the intern.
I would think so, although that intern is so straight with up weight.
I think she's throwing the out turn with a ton of weight here.
If she's throwing the in, I think she's only trying to hit one. To play the double, I think you've got to throw the out.
I think she's playing the out turn with a bunch of weight here. Trying to just cross it a hair.
Because if you cross it 2 hairs, you hit the red guard.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the worry here, right?
Well,
turn that curls.
I think this is going to be moving.
It would have to be that last hit that the Richards team wasn't quiet, and it came up to the nose like it curled.
Yeah, and she just watched that, so she has confidence in her ability to throw this out turn hard and have it not curl much. Gave her a little push out. Not a bad result.
Yeah, gets her shooter under cover. It is second shot.
Yeah. It's hard to put a rock in a place now that is both second shot and not.
Don't have to be second. She needs the corner freeze. Exactly what she's looking at. You corner freeze, you protect your own backstone. Kaitlyn won't be able to get rid of either yellow, and if she just guards it, you've got to run in for 3.
Yeah, depending upon where, if you can get this
corner freeze here, you could put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah.
I don't think you want separation. I think you want to be locked right on the corner.
I do too. I think you want to get as close to the nose as you possibly can. Right on.
I think you got to stay on the corner. If you're on the nose, she can pick the back one.
Yeah. Probably like 3/4. Like give her a little bit of the back one, give her a tease. But yeah,
I think when your rock comes to rest, I think you want the edge of your stone basically touching center line, and right on the corner of that red.
Yeah, that makes the shot for 3 tough That makes the shot for three almost impossible.
Well, I don't think it does. It depends what
Kaitlyn does.
What Kaitlyn does, yeah.
Yeah.
Because keep in mind, if you're playing the run back to make it, you don't have to throw big weight. You only have to move that
you don't have to get it
into the 8 foot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're anywhere about where you said, I don't mind her taking a run at the back one. I don't really mind it because it's, again.
Well, if she makes it, you're playing that run back just to get two.
Yeah.
And it's a tough shot.
Yeah.
Like, here's the other thing, the run back, if the back one's still there, the run back, you make any kind of contact, you're probably getting two. And if you manage to stick them both, it could be for three.
Yeah.
Take that back one away, and your choices are 1 and 2, and one's not good enough to keep playing, not likely.
No, not good enough. You need two here.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as if you're top 8 foot though, on the center line.
Yeah, then you might have to run the wider one back and go directly on the red, and then it's tough to pass it by the yellow.
Oh, just got to pick at the end.
That looked like it picked.
Yeah.
I mean, it left an angle that could still work with the run back, but
the problem with the run back now is that when you hit that yellow onto the yellow, that when you throw will not count that back red.
Yeah, well, it might. Only because if you look at it, you got to go a little across the face to get the yellow back, so it's going to roll. It's just a question of where.
Can you make a double off Can you make a double off of one of those two reds? A thin double off of, is that an easier shot for three?
I don't know if it's there to get underneath the one you just threw.
Yeah, it might not. That's a tough pick because that was going to a perfect spot. The sweepers lift.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It happened so quick, and the shot was looking so good that. Certainly makes it a little easier for Kaitlyn Laws to make the decision to play this pick, because even if she catches the top yellow one now, she's not jamming it.
No, the sweepers were sweeping it when it did them.
Yeah. Boy, even if you pick the top one, how would she get her second point right now?
Yeah.
And that's what she's going to do.
Yeah, she's going to pick the top one over top.
But how do you make a draw in there?
I think you just throw like a back ring weight and come off that
spin off the red. Yeah, probably.
Could you play like they're also looking at this out turn away? I hate out turns away.
No, it curls so hard. I don't think you could hold enough of the forefoot.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to try the straight draw. That looks like ice for the straight draw. You can still, again, like the sweepers are aware, you can still come off that red. Like you can just take off the red and make the shot.
You can, but on the straighter turn, I'm more worried about getting by the two corner guards.
Yeah, it looks like a ton of ice.
It does.
Especially if you're going to be, like, you're not going to be light. Although maybe she's just thinking like T-line draw to the button. Like she's just thinking draw the button, period. And
so tough to call these ports like this too. Again, even though we keep calling it straight, it's not exactly straight. It's just straighter than the other side, but they stay out there for so long.
Yeah.
And all the movement is late. So you got to flirt with the corner guards just to get by the one at the top of the house, top of the forefoot. You can't really sweep it until you're sure it's off. Now they're sweeping for curl to try to get it off the corner guards, and it's not going to get by, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, no.
Tick. And maybe
Yeah, she threw it.
that they didn't push it in for shot.
She threw a lot of weight there too.
Yeah. Yeah, the weight would have been close. It was a very thin rock.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so just a single point. Gracelyn Richards gets rid of that accursed hammer anyway, but she will trail 6-4 going home. Laws with last rock.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's ice pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best brew in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Sean Joyce, Matt Hames with you. 8th end action here, women's round robin play. Kaitlyn Laws with a 2-point lead and last rock as we begin here in the 8th. First stone coming into rest. It is a center guard. It is in the no tick zone.
Yep.
Already come to rest, so I didn't have time to ask you before she threw it, Matt. You have to think she's going to throw 2 center guards. And
she's going to throw 2 center guards.
If that's the case, that's not where they wanted the first
one.
What's
really interesting about that is that it's so critical that you're on the center line that you don't stop to think about like the location of it now. Like that's not an ideal rock for throwing 2 centers.
And they couldn't really sweep it deeper because if they
sweep it deep,
if it keeps coming, it would have been off the center line.
So like
I hate this call.
I don't like this call either, but it's dictated by where that center guard is.
Yeah.
Like because you got to either throw it just over or
I know what you
top 12.
But I think scoreboard says you have to throw.
Yeah, I know. You
need to steal 2 here to tie.
2, I'd rather go top 12, top 8. I'd ignore this rock because this rock is your friend.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Top 12 and use it as a second guard. The other option is throw it just over the hog line. And
just over the hog line is so hard to put the broom down for. Like again, I'm not saying that these ladies who are super talented couldn't do it, but I think it's a less precise shot to throw a top 8-foot guard.
I understand. I take the other approach in this, in that you're 2 down coming home without last rock.
Yeah.
I don't think you're in a position where you can look for easier shots.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's a tough shot, but it's the shot you have to play and you have to make. You're in a tough situation. You're gonna
absolutely.
If you're gonna get out of this, you have to expect that you're gonna have to make some tough shots.
Yeah.
If you're playing easy shots, you're probably leaving easier shots for your opposition.
I think in this situation right here, Kaitlyn is okay with just blasting everything out.
Blast everything because they know they can deal with the next one. Yeah.
Get rid of everything. But
she's not playing it that way.
Quiet.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. Like that to me is a half rock peel and just get rid of it all. It's like she's trying to roll under. It's a good execution of a shot. I'm not sure that you necessarily want that, but that's a good
execution
shot.
of a shot that I wouldn't have played. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're saying it somewhat tongue in cheek, but let's just lay it out. So Gracelyn Richards is going to try to freeze to that. You go peel the guard. She freezes to it again, or she could throw the guard a few times, let you peel it.
She'll probably throw the guard.
It gives her the chance to sit to. She'll freeze to it. You try to blast, and if you leave them both in, she has a chance to sit 3, and sometimes that's the way to steal 2 is to sit 3.
Yep.
if you blast those out, she comes around, you peel the guard. She's never going to have two in the rings.
Nope, never.
Until the very end when she comes in, it's the only two rocks in play.
It's the curling math, right? It's just the straight up curling math. Like if you peeled everything out there, unless you drastically missed, she was never gonna have more than one rock in the rings. And now this rock is going to be hard to remove. Yeah. She would say that they're still never going to have two in the rings because they're always going to.
Well, that's just not true. Like if you keep exchanging rocks now till the end, she can freeze to the one in the middle with her first stone. She freezes to it with the first stone.
Yeah.
When Kaitlyn tries to blast, maybe she won't. Maybe she won't be able to. If Kaitlyn tries to blast it and happens to leave two yellows in the rings, now you have a chance to sit three.
Well, because now when she does play the freeze, she's going to try to cross it a little bit so that that jams on that back one.
She's not going to play it yet. She's got to play some guards.
She's going to probably let 2 or 3 guards go here. Probably 3.
I would think she might throw 4. She might not throw the freeze until her first stone because you come into the rings too early. You give Kaitlyn too many chances.
Yeah, that's true.
At doubles.
That's fair. Can she
or pardon me, it'd be 3 more guards. She come in with her first. Yeah.
Yeah. Could she throw on thirds last? This gotta get over the rings. This gotta get over.
Well, so much for that discussion. Those scenarios now out of the way.
That's the thing about planning shots ahead. You have to make shots, or else there's no point planning ahead.
Yeah, and then we don't get to see how it would have worked out.
No, I was gonna say, I wonder if they would have ever considered the intern come around to the freeze to the back one too. But that's a moot point now. This is just gonna.
Yeah,
it's turned into a much easier end.
Would have liked to have clipped one of those red ones with it, but
yeah. I don't think they care as much now. Now the math is back. Well, it's not great for them, but it's better. Right? There's 4 rocks to come. 2 of them have to count. And they're throwing a guard here.
Yeah, this is probably the last guard you can throw.
This has to be the last guard. And then the appeal this guard, then she's going to try the intern freeze on the back one, try to cross it a hair.
Maybe. I see 2 possibilities. She's got the intern freeze that you just talked about, or she's got, and you can play it with either turn, but the little tap on the redstone at the top of the house and try to tap it right beside the red so you leave a pocket.
For your last, yeah.
Well, for your first.
Yeah, for your first.
Third's last stone, you try to tap to a pocket. She picks it out. You freeze the pocket.
She blasts, and then you.
Well, you could sit 2. She's going to have an open hit, but once you hog the guard, that was the best you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. None of it is. It's the point in a curling game too when you're thinking to yourself, you're really hoping for a complete miss from a team of elite players who
exactly
throw a complete miss down. So you kind of have to play it out, but you're not feeling very confident about your chances right now.
I'll throw one more option out at you just before she throws it, and unfortunately they're stuck playing it on the straight turn, so it makes it tougher. But you could try to come around both of those to the back.
Come around all the
problem is that out turn side is the straighter turn.
Yeah. You just come around back 12 foot and try to sit there. That she tries to run the back one onto you, maybe misses it. Then you freeze to the top one.
She blasts, leaves you in it, and that's your chance to maybe sit 3.
Yeah.
And then you hope she rolls out and you get your steal of 2.
They call a freeze on this top one or a guard?
I
don't think they call a guard.
This was a freeze.
I think it's
that's just
I don't think it was I don't know, because that's a big.
Looks like they played the guard all the way.
Yeah, and I think they played the guard.
That's just the math just doesn't work on a shot like that. I have seen that done before, but it's just it's a situation they're going to need to talk about. Is
Yeah.
Your chances
Just when
are
to
great
go.
either way, but you probably don't.
Yeah. Your chances are better.
You're
trying
expecting
something.
a just off the nose hit on that, so that you don't lose
Yeah.
all your backing and you still keep a guard. And the chances of that are, slim to nil. And I think Slim's out of town.
Yeah. So it looks like they're playing the freeze on the top one. Dead freeze on the top one.
Yeah, I don't mind this now.
I don't mind
having
it.
played the situation that they played.
Yeah.
If you get the freeze just a little off center on the broom side, just slightly.
Yeah.
If she blasts it and hits it too thick, the run back stone, the red stone, might go onto the other red and stay behind your yellow somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. You might get lucky.
Lucky's what you got to hope for now.
Yeah. So you're trying to freeze just offset on the broom side of this rock.
Yeah, sliver on the broom side. Because if you're half rock on the broom side, she can blast it out.
Yeah, she's blasting it. So like 6/8-ish, like 3/4, I guess is a better way to say that, but a little bit more than 3/4.
Even more. Let's get into different fractions.
7/8.
Maybe even 15/16. Yeah.
15/16 of the rock is perfect. Like you just want to be off nose just a bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take much because they're already overlapped. I mean, if anything angled that way, there's a chance it's going to jam and maybe stay in the back.
That's what you're hoping for, right? You're just hoping for at the end of this, there's a yellow rock and one red rock still in play.
You're hoping to throw your next one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And just didn't have the weight. Just left a lot of separation there. So Kaitlyn Laws getting set to throw her first stone here in the 8th inch. She's got a 2-point lead on last rock. If she can make this go away, she will run Richards out of rocks, and that would move Laws to 3-1, drop Richards to 3-1. Both of them still in a good position for the playoffs at that point, but that would be one less undefeated team on the women's side.
Yep. This must be the last game out there too.
I'm just refreshing the scores myself. I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks good.
Kaitlyn Laws with the hit. Will run Gracelyn Richards out of rocks. She picks up the 6-4 win here over Richards. Both teams now 3-1, and they'll be on the ice at 7:00 local time tonight. That concludes draw 9 here from the Saville Shootout. My name's Sean Joyce. Been joined this morning by Matt Hames. We've got men's action at 2:00. The final draw of the round robin for the men at 2. The final draw of the round robin for the women 7:00 tonight. And then Championship Monday. We'll have all the action for you here on the Curling Stadium. Find us on YouTube or go through curlingzone.com and find all your favorite teams as they continue on play here towards the championship.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you soon.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardlines Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.